Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's really early for you.
It's 10:30.
Yeah.
Good morning, afternoon, hello.
How's everybody?
Whatever time of day it is to anyone.
Yeah,
It could be nighttime for some people.
right.
It
So
could be the whole other day.
Oh,
people, it is actually a whole other day. They're like 1:32 in the morning for them.
Right.
true. How are you guys today?
Good. I just got done with my yoga, so
Nice.
That's how you feel chilled. Like, yeah, let's get this
Yeah.
going. And Yana's, yeah, let's go. Let's get this day going. Um,
Right.
I'm tired. Like,
All right.
I'm very tired. I actually just said yes to another weekly podcast that I will be doing. It's called Finance Fridays that
Ooh,
is
mm,
with Rachel and Chris.
nice.
After the Monday podcast that Rachel and I did, a topic that I just like, her and I started talking, I got like really fired up. Like, yeah, we gotta do something about this because people, how do I put it? The money stories are that all of us are carrying are out of whack. And the power is in the hands of very few. And it's been like that for way too long. Things need to change. And they're hoarding all their wealth to themselves. They've actually increased their wealth by 27 point, I think 5% in the peak of COVID while people were losing jobs. So there's something wrong with the system and it's favoring the few and it's time for the masses to experience what wealth feels like and at the end of the day, I've always been the one speaking for equality, and this disbalance is very unequal. What's wrong with the world being, with every human being in the world being able to have wealth and being able to have whatever they want to have? Like, why is that not the way that we're living?
the ego, man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but it's one of those things. It takes the awakened to put it out there so everyone can see. I know I've seen a few things that like because Brian's been into all this stuff with like the stocks and all that. Like he's more into it than I am, and he tells me about it, and it's just like, oh man. I don't know if you guys heard about the Reddit stuff, with the oh, okay. So with the I see, I don't know too much. I just know what he told me, but there was certain stocks that like GameStop was one, and people were buying into it, and it ended up making the billionaires, the hedge fund people, lose like billions of dollars, which was great for us people because it gave wealth to everyone around. So there's a few stocks that like they're trying to do that with, and like us people are fighting against it. So it's like, wow, equality, unity.
There's one that the spiritual community is jumping on and building it and building it and building it. That some people like the ones that don't want to lose their money, don't want the people to become wealthy, they're saying this is a fake stock. They're saying that this is the kind of stock that people create to make money and then ditch it and run with all the money. Whereas that's not what's happening. What's happening is the spiritual community got really pissed off of all the stuff. And this is actually one of the cryptocurrencies. Okay. And the spiritual community is like, okay, you know what? We're going to go and play this game. We're going to create our own stock, which is going to be just a kind of like a, one of these like FU kind of stocks. We're
Yeah,
gonna,
the Dodge coin, is that the one you're talking about?
that's the
Yeah.
and they're going to build it and they're going to bring it to something else. And yeah, I mean, I don't know the whole story because I really just got whiff of it, whiff of the wind of it, and I'm like, ooh, I like this.
Right. Yeah, I heard with Dogecoin. So when they made it, it was like that, like an FU type thing to like to like Bitcoin and stuff. And it was supposed to be like more like make fun of it in a way. And then people started buying into it, but I don't know too much about it. But yeah,
People are
it's
buying,
interesting.
and I mean, I don't know too much of it either, but from what I gather, people are buying into it because they believe in crypto, they understand somewhat of crypto, and they also decided like this Bitcoin, for example, is for the wealthy, it's for billionaires, for the elites of the world, right? And I don't particularly like that word. Um, but and then there's the next one up, the second one is Ethereum
Right.
or Ether or ETH. There's different kind of ways of shortening it. So that's the second runner up. And then now with Dogecoin, this is where the spiritual community, this is where they're like, yeah, let's go show them that we, as the majority, can create something and something that might be even bigger than Bitcoin, right? Because they know it's like, okay, well, we can't do very much about money. And at the end of the day, whether it's money, that physical dollar bills, which are going away. Everybody already knows this. I already knew this in my last years of banking. I'm like, ooh, I see what's happening. I see how they're slowly eliminating banks, jobs in the banks, right? This was in 2015. It started in 2014, and then 2015 is when there's really like they were asking us to do things, help your customer to pay their bills at the bank machine. I'm like, why? I have it right here. But teach them how to do bank machines, and then show them when they want to pay bills, show them how to do it online with their phone. And right away, I'm like, I'm not a fool. I'm like, I see what you guys are doing. I see what you're doing. Guess what happened in 2016? Most of the frontline positions were gone. The people had nowhere really to go. Of course, some of them found where to go, but the world is slowly moving into sci-fi movie life.
And we could take it to a different level though, and take this as like a learning experience and say, hey, wait, we don't need these big ass corporations to run this world. Like, they're doing a shitty ass motherfucking job. So why not invest in ourselves, invest in our community, invest in each other, instead of investing in these companies that aren't doing good for our world. And even that, working for these companies that are not good for the world and thinking we need them. No, you can have your own business. You can go after it, but it's the problem is everyone thinks that maybe there's not enough money, that you can't compete with these big companies, or that there's too many people out there doing the same thing as you. There are, 7 billion people on this earth. Not everyone wants to do what you're doing. Not everyone is doing what you're doing. Make it your own. Create yourself.
I love those points because those are actually exactly the points and the reasons why we decided that creating Finance Fridays podcast video, which will be also broadcasted live in Rachel's group, Empath Warrior Training, and my group, Empath Unicorn Academy. So it's going to be broadcasted live in there, which is extra content. Plus, I'm going to be posting it on here if I'm able to record. I'm pretty sure we will be recording it. So, awesome. And that's the reason why, because what you've just expressed is a limit that people are believing in, that they see this limit and they say, this is the truth. But there is a difference between what is true and what is the truth. So that limit might be true for many people, but it is not the truth, because truth is something that is universal. And if somebody goes and breaks and goes past this limit, guess what? It is no longer the truth. It is true, but it is no longer the truth. So that's exactly what the spiritual community especially is begging for, without actually begging for it, because they want to get to a certain level, the certain wealth, financial wealth level, to help to change the world. But there's so much negative messages that keep replaying generation after generation. Money is the root of all evil. That alone affects this spiritual being, right? I don't want to be evil. I'm not evil. I'm here to help the world. I'm here to save the world. I'm an empath. I'm sensitive. I'm doing all these things. I'm this, I'm that. So it goes like everything that we are. It's kind of challenges. Like, do I have to be evil in order for me to have the financial wealth?
I think I like that. I'm going to play off that a little bit because I think when we have that negative, like even me, I used to say that, you know, and for me, I think it stopped money from flowing into my life. But I had to switch my perception of money and say it's an energy exchange, right? So this money, I don't need to look at it as this evil thing anymore. I can say, hey, this person, I'm giving them something, and this is another form of energy they're giving me for my time, for what I am doing for them, right? Because even back in the day, they used to just barter. So, hey, what can you do for me? And I can do for you, you know? And so, and some people don't maybe need that service. So that's where we created having, you know, the form of money. And money actually is just a I owe you. That's literally what money is and what the government has made it to be. I owe you this. Okay, where is it? Where is it?
Yeah, I totally agree. It is an energy exchange. But if we have these subconscious stories, subconscious phrases, subconscious limiting beliefs that are replaying in the back of our mind and we're not consciously aware of them, we can't change them because we're not consciously aware of them. And then even when one becomes consciously aware of things, some of these stories can take quite some time to break through. One of my money stories was really messed up, and it took me a while to break through it. I think I might have shared it with both of you, maybe even in one of these videos, but I'll share it now again really quickly. One of my money stories was when I got fired from the bank after I worked for 11 and a half years. And those of you that are curious about why I got fired, it's not that bank sees things in black and white, and when you're in a small family and being an empath and you see the need to help someone, when you go and help someone and then somebody else comes in that doesn't like this person, they try to get them in trouble, try to get them fired, and because you're in the middle, we all know what happens with a person in the middle. Two people having an argument, you come in the middle, you're the one that gets bitten. That's what happened. Okay, and I'm so happy that it happened, but that's not the conversation here. Okay, so then I went another job, and then long story short, I ended up quitting that job. And my money story was this: I don't deserve to eat food because I did not pay for it. And it's not something that my husband said. It was just something in my mind. I don't know where it came from. And I'm not particularly interested to find out where it came from right now. Later on, I might, but it's not interesting right now for me. So I ended up not eating throughout the day until my husband would come home, and only then I would be able to eat food, and then I would eat a lot of food, and then all day, and it would be like day after day after day, weeks, and this was going on for months. I would not be eating because of my messed up money story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it took me a while to figure it out. And I was working with a coach to figure it out and then cover it and then work through it. Mm-hmm. And I still find myself some days when I feel really unachieved is the word that I would describe, that I still find myself not eating throughout the day. And then once I recognize, I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't eaten. Why didn't I eat? So I question myself through that. I'm like, okay, so let's go and eat something. And then when I eat something, I don't overeat. I eat a little bit, but that is just one example of a money story that I had. There's other money stories that I had, but this is the one that really stuck with me because it affected when we don't feed our body. It affects our body, our mind, and everything. And all the work that I did to move myself forward in my mental health by not eating, it brought me back. And it was just like, just back and forth, back and forth. It was like the circle. And I had to make a little dance in the circle so I can like step out a little bit here, a little bit there until I made it into my own shape, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really
I
like
agree.
that.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, no.
You guys are too
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say that I had a money story used to be a crazy thing for me too in the past. Like I had to work through a lot of it. It was the money scarcity though, of like, oh, there's not enough. Like, oh, we're never gonna have enough, or just being in that limitation mindset. But that's where I had to work through that one. And I have my days, but I'm able to get out of it and be like, come on, you do a lot. Because I was a stay-at-home mom, just kind of getting out of the work field. And I'm like, well, I don't do anything. I just sit at home. So, like, what am I contributing to the family? But in all reality, I was doing a lot. I was doing a lot with our business. And, I had to just open my eyes a little bit, like get out of that little bubble, like how you describe, Yana, make my way out and pop it and be like, oh,
Yeah.
there's a light at the end of the tunnel here. There is. It's right there. I'm right there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know. I like that. I like your guys' money stories. Mine, I was gonna say for me, it was when I was traveling because, a lot of people, that's a big question I get all the time is how do you afford to travel? I make it happen because that's what I want. And I don't let money be my motivating factor. So I know the universe will provide for me when I need it. And a lot of times, again, I switched just that currency, that exchange of energy. So when I was traveling, a lot of times it was me volunteering my time and working for someone and them just giving me food and accommodation. Cool, I'm down. So then it took a lot of different costs that I didn't have to pay for. And yeah, so then it was doing things a little differently and not realizing that everything has to be an exchange of money, right? It can be our time, our energy, and just doing stuff for other people. And I did it all around the world. I mean, and with, little, like absolutely nothing. And so I think when people have that limiting belief, like, oh, I need X amount of money to go travel. And I see it all the time on like forums that I'm in on Facebook. How much do I need to go travel? Whatever you have in your bank account, go. You will make it work. You will. If it's truly what you desire, it will come to you, and don't worry about it. Because when you start having those limiting beliefs that, oh, I can't do it, oh, I'm gonna need this much until I can do it, and then you're never gonna do it because money never has an ending point. It is infinite.
Yeah.
It never stops.
Yeah. And that's
So
a
when
very
we
great point,
Yeah.
right? Because
right.
what you mentioned is a bunch of different money stories and limiting money stories, which actually creates lack. When we say, I can't afford it,
Mm-hmm.
you're sending energy to money saying, I don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so money's gonna say, okay, fine, I'll go to those that like me. Guess who likes them? The elite. So it goes there. You don't want it? That's fine. That's fine. I don't want to go where I'm not wanted. I'm gonna go where I am wanted, where I'm gonna be praised. And then when we say, oh, that person is so rich, I wish I had their car, I had that. And you express envy and jealousy with somebody else who has something that you want, guess what? Creating lack of the financial abundance. And that person ends up having more, you end up having less. But there's really something really good to this. Okay. So when we, because I know some people might be listening, be like, oh my God, I do that. That's it. I'm ruined. That's it. I'm going to be poor in a month. No, there's a really, really good thing with this. When we send negative energy is actually not as strong as positive energy, which means that when we send this lack of energy, this I'm poor kind of energy out, it takes longer for that to manifest itself. But when we send positive, anabolic, happy, healthy, stronger energy to that, it creates that into our life much faster, sometimes even a snap of a finger, right? That I have myself have noticed to be true as well.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah. Oh yeah. Because once I started to change those beliefs, it just like I felt like everything was coming into abundance. Like, I mean, sometimes it wasn't necessarily, money, but it had like the energy behind it, like someone did something for us, so then we do something for them, and then it just that positive, like abundant energy was just like flowing, and it still continues to do that, and it's empowering and like really inspiring and exciting.
Yeah, it opens up a lot more doors when we start believing. I mean, the belief can start very small. It's like, I could be a millionaire, right? I could be. And that's true, because once you start thinking, I could be, I could be. What would happen if I was one? And then the whole story goes, if I was one, I would do this and this and this. If I was one, I would have this and this and that. And then it moves to, I am one. And then once you start believing that I am one, once you start dressing for the job that you want, that's when it starts to come in. But the interesting thing is that paying attention to how it actually starts to come in and manifest, because it comes in different forms and in different ways. We might think that it'll be just somebody comes and gives us money, like just like that. No, it doesn't always come in like that. Sometimes it comes in with things that are worth a lot. Sometimes it comes in as an opportunity that in time, over time, it will bring you exactly what you want. There was this, I love the law of being, right? So in the law of being, there's one, you know which one I'm gonna say, Bethany, with this one, when Bruce says, he says so there's this man who has a conversation with God. He asks God, what is 1 second to you? Right? He goes, 1 second to me is like a million years to you. And he goes, God, what is $1 million to you? God says, $1 million to me is like a penny to you. And then the man asks, God, can I have one of your pennies? He says, certainly, 1 second.
Oh, I like it.
I really, really love that. So every time I have I feel this financial block that I need to move past it, I think of this joke, this story, this anecdote, right? And it's like, which means that patience, as the thought comes to mind, patience, my dear one. If you want it, it will come to you. You just have to be patient. You ask for it and continue to send good, positive energy to whatever it is that you want. Because the moment that you start moving in an opposite direction, I start to think, well, you changed your mind. You don't want it anymore. Right? So slowly it starts to move away. The way that, another way to describe it is like, think of it, whatever it is that you want to create, whether it's financial wealth, since we're talking about financial wealth, or it could be physical health. Think of it as this bubble, this shiny, round, white, bright bubble. Maybe you like red colors, so whatever color you want to see. And that when you're thinking of this is what I want, it starts to come to you. It's slowly coming. Remember of that second, right? So it starts coming to you and starts coming to you. But then it's like when you look away from it, like, I don't know. And you start to worry, and it starts to slowly move away. But it moves away slower than it's coming to you. So if it's coming to you this way, it's going to move away slowly like this. That's the great news.
Yeah. I think with that, like a lot of people think like this, like change happens overnight. And all of us can say, no, it's an everyday occurrence. It's every day us working on changing our beliefs, on changing how we are thinking, changing the words that we're using, doing all of these different things. It's daily. And it's not going to just, it's taken me 10 years to get to where I am. So again, it's going to take you a long time. And I know I'm going to be doing this till the day that I die. you know, it's going to be every day. I'm not going to get to a point and be like, oh, I'm done. No, not how our human experience works.
It's like enjoying the journey.
In the journey, because when you say it took you 10 years to get here, I don't believe that, because I don't think you're 10 years old, because it took me 34 years to get here. It's a lifetime. It's
true. I will say for me, the moment that I became very connected with my body and aware of myself was 10 years ago, when I really brought mindfulness into my life.
You've gone through a lot.
I'm sorry, what?
You've gone through other things that led you to that point to now feel like this is the time that I'm going to start making a change. Because if you had a different journey prior to that, you would have not come there. So technically, your journey started from the moment you were conceived. Mm-hmm. So that's like an extra 9 months to the top of the age.
True.
And yeah, you're right. Like it is a process, and it takes us our lifetime to get to where we are, through a maze of obstacles, bumps and bruises and scars and open wounds that sometimes we had to lick over time, and we continue to reopen that wound. And I forgot where I was going with this. It's like went away. But it's possible. At the end of the day, it's possible. It's just keeping a focus, keeping clear focus on whatever it is that you want, and remembering that. Oh, and I remember that. Remembering that if you, let's say, you wanted wealth, right, and you wanted to have financial abundance, and you wanted to wake up with $1 billion in your bank account, and you woke up one morning with that in your bank account, and you have not done the necessary preparation work, what that person looks like, that future you looks like, you would not know what to do with it. And what actually happens with people, and anybody that doesn't believe me, go ahead and Google it. I love Google. But people that have won millions of dollars, very many of them have started to suffer mentally. Some of them actually even lost more than they won. So there's a lot to it, because they have not gone through the preparation process of what it takes to have this job. It kind of is like a job, right? Because if you have a lot of money and it's just sitting there and you're hoarding it, then I mean, I don't want to say it's a selfish thing to do, because it's not, but it's not benefiting you by it sitting there collecting dust.
Yeah.
It's not benefiting anyone in the world.
Yeah, I think that's like kind of the same for, like, let's say business. If someone dropped a successful business and was like, hey, you're now in charge, and you don't have any of those skills to manage properly or know how to run a business, guess what? That's a sinking ship. You're going down, you know? So I believe we all need to be at a certain point in our life for a reason, and things always happen for that reason. So even, you know, we're constantly learning to build up to that. So eventually, you know, I want that, to have my own business and everything. Do I think, I know I'm capable of doing it. I know firmly that I am capable of doing it, but I love to have these skills. I love to constantly learn new things. I love learning from you and seeing like, hey, no, I could do this, and seeing you do it, and having, you know, mentors and having people that can help propel you and keep you on that track.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I totally agree. The same, like when you're talking about the business, like when you wake up and you have the business that you have dreamt of, how are you supposed to know what to do with it, how to run it, how to manage it, and not run it into the ground? Because it takes a certain amount of skills and practice with those skills in order to maintain it. Same thing with the body. So many of us, this is one of the things that, like, I see this everywhere. Everybody wants to have this body, this perfect body. And if one wakes up with that body, how would they know how they even got to the place. What food did they eat? What food did they avoid? What exercise did they do? How did they like maintain it? How much exercise? There's a lot to it. So just because you it does not mean you can maintain it and keep going with it for the rest of your life. And that itself can be a huge, like, I can't even imagine waking up with the body that I want and then thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm going to lose it because I don't know what to do with it, how to maintain it going forward.
You just watching Netflix.
I definitely agree with that because like there was a time where I got down, I lost a bunch of weight. I like got down to the size I wanted and everything. And but I mentally I wasn't ready for it because I didn't go through like all the growth that I needed to go to actually enjoy the body. So now when I went back onto that journey to lose it again, which I don't know, it's not I like it's like not losing, I was winning, I guess, but not I don't it's because I don't like to think about it as losing it because like I guess I cleaned myself up more, you know, I got onto the inside, dusted off all the screws and worked through all those traumas that were necessary to now I'm down to a size that I'm really happy with. I'm where I want to be. I mean, I'm still working on a little bit more because I did jump to like a vegetarian lifestyle, which I have been loving. Like, I haven't been breaking out at all. Like, I just feel like the weight is just dropping. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Like, you know, but it took time. Like, I like kind of bypassed the mental health you know, process of like working through stuff, and I just got the body. So now it's like I've worked through stuff, I continue to work through and grow and learn, but I know what I can do to, you know, keep myself the way I am instead of just going back into those old habits, being like, oh, it's fine, you know, it's okay. And not having that yo-yo of, you know, up and down weight, because that's super unhealthy for your body as well.
Yeah.
Which I used to do all the time, but yeah, not long. That's where I was getting at with that.
Bethany, I'm so proud of you for going on that journey.
Oh,
and I'm so glad you brought it up because I was like, I'm not going to bring this up unless they start talking about it. So the other day I had to go pick up more supplements. I ran on my B12 and I was getting more vitamin D. And I was sitting there and thinking about my family members because a lot of them have like inflammation, a lot of joint pain. And so I went and asked one of the ladies, hey, what is a good, you know, herb or anything for this? And she was like, oh, cumin. And I was like, oh, okay. And I loved them. There was two ladies and they were talking about it. And they gave me a free book, first of all. They were like, oh, we got a whole bunch of these. You can take this. I was like, oh my God. I love reading, so thank you. And two, so I started reading it last night. And as I'm reading it, mind you, I'm not a doctor. I did not go to school for this. This is just my intuition that has always told me this. And I have constantly told my family this. And it was funny because I was reading this to my aunt last night and she was shocked. She was like, you say this all the time. Yes, someone said it. So I have to like tell you. So he is a doctor and he's a researcher on cancer. So he talks about how everyone can tell you the story of colon cancer or breast cancer that runs in families. So he pretty much goes on and says that the only reason cancers are around is because of lifestyle choices and the environment. So most of it is dietary lifestyles and picking up the habits from our family, because only 5% of all cancer cases are genetic. So, and then I just started reading before I was on with you guys, and he talks about how all of us have those on and off switches on our genes. And when we are not properly feeding our body, and again, not kind of consuming the right food or getting all the nutrients that we need, it can turn on turn off the cancer fighting cells, and then cancer can grow everywhere. So I had to tell you guys that because I was like, oh my goodness, someone thinks the way that I do, and they're a PhD.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I saw the name, and that's what's in turmeric, and I love turmeric. I take turmeric instead of ibuprofen and stuff, and I used to take it on a daily basis, but I cut back, and now I'm starting to feel like myself again from getting off all those supplements that I was on. So I'm gonna reintroduce it back into my life because it is, I agree, an amazing supplement. Like amazing. I love it.
No, I'm gonna start using it. I'm gonna go back and get some.
Is that called cardamom?
Yeah.
It's in turmeric. Like you can get it in turmeric.
Yes, turmeric. Which is
Yes, but he says that there's not enough in turmeric because turmeric is the top of the plant, and this comes from the root of the plant.
Oh, I see.
Okay. That's good to know.
That makes
So
sense.
just getting the straight, like I can never say that word.
Yeah, I can. What did you say, Yana?
My mom, so we're from Russia. My mom likes to make this yellow rice with chicken. She uses that spice, curcumum, and she says it's from the flower, kind of like a dandelion looking flower, but it's from the flower. And I'm like, no, that's turmeric, which is the root. Turmeric is the root. Curcumum is the actual flower itself, and I think they are one plant.
I just read it. That's what he said in his book, is that what he's talking about comes from turmeric plant, and it's in the root of it, and it's what makes it the color that it is for some reason.
Yeah, we have the root. I like to even we have the raw root. I prefer the raw. So we grind up a little bit. I know I used to make smoothies for my kids all the time, and I would throw that in there just a little bit. Anybody watching and you have really, really, or listening and you have really, really picky eaters, that's what I used to do. I used to I'll tell you a list of ingredients right now really quickly. That's why I'm whispering just in case you don't hear. I would put turmeric. I would put a little bit of ginger. I would put avocado in there. I would put beets in there. I would put zucchini, like avocado. What do you call them? Green tree looking thing, broccoli. Yeah, call it trees, nature's trees.
I like it.
So put that in there, and then I will put some chia seeds in there. I will put hemp seeds in there, a bunch of different things, flax seed as well, and then a bunch of fruit. So of course it would not be all at once. Sometimes it was, but sometimes just the variety of things. And what really helped to get rid of the taste, like bitterness and stuff, raspberries. And pineapple.
Oh yeah, pineapple is huge.
I would put those two in there, and then I would add some cherries and some other berries in there as well, and they would drink it. And especially my son, because he's really picky, but so good. I'm like, oh my God, please. So he would drink it by the cups, and I was so happy. And then of course I got a little too, I got this. So I started making them when they weren't as good anymore. Trying to put more of the healthier stuff in there. So I learned to just, keep it simple. Don't have to overdo it because then they're not gonna drink it. It'll be a waste. But I used to put turmeric in there, and to this day we still put turmeric in a lot of our meals. Just the raw root, just grind it up a little bit, and of course it paints your fingers as well. And what you were saying about the genetics and that the cancers are only 5% genetics. I definitely agree with that. I know I brought it up in conversations with people a couple of times, no, it's genetics, right? No, it's not, because we can alter our genetics. We can change our genetics as well. It has a lot to do with the environment where you live. So let's say you live in a forest. It's much healthier, cleaner air. If you're living in the city, it's not going to be as healthy. And if you're living by an industrial building, it's going to be less healthier. So that's kind of like the environment as well. Plus the airplanes go by, so we always get sprayed with that, a lot less now, which is great. And I mean, we see now with the weather as well, it's reclaiming itself. And the rest is exercise and nutrition and rest.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I in my family, I have breast cancer, I have diabetes, as far as I know. I mean, I don't know if they really kept track of all the health conditions, but obesity's in my family as well.
Yeah. Well, like, so something why I hate Western medicine, and when I go to the doctors, I always hate this, but so every time I go in, they always make me fill out stupid fucking paperwork. Granted, I've been here so many times. Why do I need to constantly keep filling this out? Oh, because you're trying to get my mind to constantly think of all of the diseases that run in my family. And you're putting it in my conscious mind to constantly say, oh, I'm going to have diabetes. Oh, I'm going to have cancer, because everyone has, and I need to check it off all the time. Oh, my mom has it. My grandpa has it. My grandma has it. Huh? So again, when we're negatively looking at all these diseases and mimicking their lifestyle choices, of course you're going to have it. And I have this talk and people think I'm crazy when I say it to them, that genes, because it's just an excuse. It's an excuse for people to say it runs in my family. I can't do anything about it. Yes, you can.
Yeah. You say that about your doctor, and it made me think about my doctor, and she doesn't have me fill out something like that every time I go in. It's like, what are you experiencing? What are your symptoms? Okay. Mm-hmm. And then like I've told her, like, she's kind of more of like, she has a holistic approach, I guess. So it's interesting to think about that, because she was always like, okay, well, what can you do other than pills and medicine? And she kind of got me into like a little bit of yoga too. And last time I went to go see her, when I had that nasal congestion, she's like, well, keep doing your yoga and your breathing and your meditation. And it was cool to have a doctor that was that she's like that, instead of like what you're saying, where they're like, okay, what's wrong, what's going on.
But again, I feel that that's before I get into there, because I will say I have found a good doctor that actually listens to me, and I appreciate that. And for me, I don't go to the doctor a lot, so I get free healthcare, thankfully. So every time I come back to the US, I just go and get a normal checkup. I know I'm fine, but I just like to, And so this time, she remembered I was vegan. She remembers I don't like taking medicine. I pretty much don't like Western medicine. Okay. She knows that, which is really nice, because you're listening to me and realizing that I know my body. And when I'm telling you something, you're listening. So and it's good. They have all the resources. So I got my blood work. She made sure all my vitamins were okay. I told her about my shoulder, so she got me into physical therapy. And even at physical therapy, he's like, yeah, you won't be here long. I'm like, oh, thank you. He's like, you're very aware of yourself. And I think we just need to, and I'm like, yes, I do. I need someone to sometimes keep me accountable for my posture. So, hey, right? All of us need to.
I don't know if you keep seeing me, we're all kind of slouch. I'm like, oh, wait, nope, posture. Yeah.
Right? So it's hard. I need someone to hold me accountable and even teach me those things, because even I realize when I'm driving in the car, I do tend to go like this. So now I'm like, nope, Meagan, every time you feel it, your head needs to be on your headrest. This is how you need to drive. And it's crazy, when I start feeling a little pain, all I have to do is correct myself, and it relieves some of that. And it's like, wow.
I agree. Yeah. Oh yeah. Sometimes it's just like, ooh, okay, that's what I needed. I needed to sit up straight or stand up straight.
And engage your core. Remember that.
Right. Oh yeah. Yep. And I learned that from like really getting into the yoga practice as well. Like that really helps. So I'm always like yoga to everyone. Someone's like, what can I do for a hobby? Yoga.
Yeah, why not? When you were talking about driving in the car, like slouched, the way that I corrected my driving, because I used to like drive, I'm a little person, right? So I gotta sit up, go closer, move close. So the way I corrected my driving is lower the wheel
Mhm.
and drive like I'm a cool person. You know how the cool people,
Yes.
yeah, like that. So I would
I
just
can see you doing that.
like that, and then literally within a second of me putting my arm up like that, and like, okay, I feel great. Okay, I'm gonna put it down at the bottom, and my posture corrects itself.
Nice.
Just a shift of like, of I guess perception of myself and how I look, either like a grandma driving like this, right? Really nervous, really scared. I don't want to hit anyone, but I'm not a nervous driver. I love driving. I love driving in the snow and the slush and when the car slides. Ooh, I get so excited.
I'm learning to like that. I have to think of mudding because I used to love mudding. And whenever I drive in the sloshy snow, I'm like, woo, we're going mudding.
No, I love it. And when there's like puddles on the side of the road as well, I'll drive not in them because I know you can hydroplane, but close to them so that there's just slushes everywhere. And it's really like, ooh, nice. I need this.
That's awesome. You
Yeah.
know, one way I learned how to correct my posture with driving was I took this meditation course, and it was like bringing meditation into your life altogether. And it talked about when you're driving, how you could be driving and meditating at the same time. And it's like sometimes I have to check myself because I'll slouch. When I do, it's like I put my hands on the 10 and 2 spot, and I just like breathe it, like kind of count like 1 2 3 4 out 2 3 4, and it helps like correct my posture. And like every 10, if it's a long drive, it's like every 20 minutes I try to, all right, let's
Correct
correct
yourself.
and after a while it kind of is just like second nature in a way.
I get that. I think for me, the problem is that I haven't driven in the last 4 years. Right? So it's hard to now go back and be aware of, oh, hey, you haven't been driving forever, but now we need to be aware of this, because it's like, oh, and be aware of driving and everything around. Because normally when I'm like in a car or on a bus, I ain't the one driving. So I have a lot more time to be aware of myself because I'm not focused on, when you're driving, you have so many different things you need to concentrate on.
Right.
Yeah. And also when you were talking about filling out the form and every time being reminded of unhealthiness in the family, so to speak, every time we are reminded of something, remember that ball, that manifestation, that's what happens. And then when somebody gets sick from the same thing that family member had, instantly they go, that's because of this individual in my family. So it's almost like blaming right away somebody else, not taking a pause, or again, thinking of everything. Take ownership for every single thing that happens in your life, which means you're sick with something. Just try to see some patterns in the past that have perhaps might have contributed to the genetics, might have contributed to you getting to the point where you are at now. It's the mind, and then in the gut, which mind and the gut and the heart, everything is connected. Everything in our body is connected. Yes. And everything really goes through the filtration system that we have, which is the stomach and the blood.
Yeah.
And your liver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes through the blood or through the liver, right? That's why I'm kind of like skipping the liver and the little actual organs, because there's a lot more organs. The blood circulates everything, and the stomach allows things in. Now, I don't know if you ladies are aware, but our body is mainly bacteria. When we eat, we feed bacteria.
It's all living organisms, man.
Yeah. Really, if we really look close, I can almost see life just moving around. It's like the whole entire planet of Earth in one cell of our skin, like one skin cell. That's like crazy to think about. Can you guys have like a zoo happening here? She's a tiger. Let me hear you roar.
No, we're a kitty. We're not a.
Presented, and how did you do?
I did good.
You did good?
I did good.
Hey.
Good job.
Good job, Mila.
Did you finish the written assignment?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. I will update your father. Okay, you can now go and breathe. Okay?
So nervous.
That's okay. Stretch. Get that.
I need hugs.
Okay.
Aw.
Hugs are always sometimes the best medicine.
Hugs are the best medicine. I agree. We
Yeah.
all need some hugs.
Yes. And even like just hugging yourself. It's like, oh, I
Mhm.
Always
I
do
love
that.
hugging myself. Yeah.
Good. That's a good skill to have.
Yeah. It makes you feel better. It's like you're comforting yourself. You know, you don't need anyone else. You got yourself.
I will.
Like right now.
I will when I'm done. I'm not gonna stop in the middle of the
Oh,
conversation,
after the call,
I
yeah.
will. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
I'm in front of people like, yes.
Simon did while French did that she was nervous to present on Monday, so she didn't present. And of course, the teacher emailed us, and my husband's like, no, not happening.
Right. Like the procrastination on it.
Yeah. And anyways, I don't want to get into the school system conversation.
That will just go on.
Right. I would love to have that with you on a different day. Oh, I was gonna tell you I got called in yesterday to sub again for my pre-K students. And the one girl that's in the class, she was just like, I just need cuddles today. I'm like, I can't say no to a 4-year-old cuddling with me. I just don't even care. Okay, come sit on my lap. I don't care. I need cuddles too. But I feel it. She's very much like us. She's a very empathetic child that I think just really needs some love sometimes. And it was so cute. She's like, no, I need more cuddles. I'm like, okay.
You're like,
So
that's
all recess, all we did was cuddle. I was thinking, okay. The other kids were like, what is cuddling? I'm like, giving someone a hug, being close to someone. Don't you need cuddles sometimes? One of them's like, no. And the other one's like, sometimes. So I'm like, yeah, see?
My daughter was like that. She was one of those students that always would hug her teachers, and from kindergarten, like preschool, whatever it was. When she was 2.5, that's when we put her into daycare. So from 2.5 up until even now, she still hugs her teachers. I mean, now it's all virtual. And she was always known as the hugger. And we had to teach my husband, by we, I mean me and my daughter, we had to teach my husband that when he's putting her to bed, you cannot put her to bed with no hugs. Like, she's 11 years old, but a hug is a must. That's the way that she knows that she is loved.
Yeah.
That's
We forget how much
is.
physical touch is so important.
Yeah.
And even now, it's so hard because we're not getting that physical contact with anyone. No, it's like, nope, don't talk to anyone. That's why I hate this whole thing, because we're already so disconnected because of our phones, because of technology. And now this is just making us be even more disconnected from each other. And this is like the turning point in life where we need to be more connected than ever to one another, and realizing that we're all going through the same effing shit right now, and we can all rely on each other because we're all feeling it. We're all going through it.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
Talking about the bank, how I saw what was happening with the bank and everything was going digital and they were getting people. The same thing is happening in the world. They are teaching us how to become digital because this is what the millennials and the younger children, that's what their life is going to be. So we need to adjust to it. So force us to do the things, they force us to go to that bank machine and pay for things digitally. You come to the counter, the cashier, oh, can I help you to use your mobile device to pay for your bills? Whereas now you wanna go and take money out of the bank. Oh, some stores don't even take money.
Yeah.
Like the same concept of let's force the change first a little bit and then shut it down.
Yeah. Because even like really random, but let's say like McDonald's, right? Or any of those, it's like, oh, there's a touch screen. You don't even need to go to the person. You can just order here. Do we not realize how many jobs are getting affected by this? And a lot of people, again, we have this system that doesn't allow them to succeed. You need money to go to college. Why do I need to go to college? That piece of paper ain't gonna do shit for me because when I get out, like, it's just a crazy system that we have a belief in, and all of us need to come to a different belief about things, because I could learn a lot more by job shadowing someone, by learning that way, than by sitting at a 4-year college and them just teaching me about everything and not focusing, or just the last year I'm focusing on my major.
Yeah, it's a lot of fillers and a lot of fillers, right? And the school itself is changing. I remember I said it was going to change, that there's not going to be colleges and schools, universities. I said this like 4 years ago, and little by little, this is what's really happening. Everything and everyone is migrating to online learning. We will become hermit crabs. A lot of people have already become the hermit because they've already had anxiety and social anxiety from one of the things that I have learned is also because you're a sensitive person, you walk into a new area and this new interaction with the person where you're taking on is not your necessarily energy, it might be the other person and plus yours, and it's like it'll combine and then it's so there's a lot to it, right? But because the reason why I use that bank example is because this is what they were doing as well, eliminating the front line. Let's little by little get rid of their jobs. All the customers that come in, they will adjust. They will figure it out on their own. What's happening right now? So many people lost their jobs. Guess what? They'll be forced to figure it out. The people that lost their jobs are forced to figure it out, and the employers are also forced to figure things out without their employees now. And of course, we are, and this is where so many have been pushed past what they believe was possible. And there are people who come out of the hibernation and they have made more in a couple of months than they did in a year working at their job. They have achieved more with their physical body in a month than they did in their whole entire lifetime. It's the mindset. Like Bethany was saying earlier, that if you have a certain mindset, that if the mindset is not there, when you get to a certain point, you're going to revert back because you are not prepared for the new version of yourself. So continue to prepare for the future self and yet being in the moment can be challenging, right? It's like, so there's that. And people are going to figure out how to adjust to the new reality and living in this new world, which is going to be that much more digital. Like, for example, with crypto, this is one of the things that I've been resisting for many years because of my own fear of I don't have the time, I don't want to learn, I can't learn, it's too complicated. Got in there, and within 2 weeks, I felt comfortable. I'm like, oh my God, this is like, it's not that complicating. And a lot of build their wealth in there as well. So, and that right there is another thing that's happening, that is eliminating the banks, right? Changing the currency, changing the money, because currency has been changed throughout decades, throughout the years. And now it's migrating to something else, something that is more appealing to this generation. Okay? Because it's not necessarily, it is for our generation. Can you let me finish?
You know, I'm going to be the oddball out. I'm not going to lie. I do like the online bill pay and like online baking. For me, I don't like to run all those errands and like having to go to this place to pay that bill. But it is taking away from jobs. So one thing that I recently started doing to like help people with the job is for groceries. I've been doing grocery pickup. So, you know, that person has a job to do in a way, because the grocery stores around here, since everything's going on, they put that into place more. And I was just like, cool. Like, I don't have to go to the store and, spend extra or even like get all the energy from everyone. I could give someone a job and they can do it for me. Like, oh, I love that. But I love online bill pay. I hope they keep it that way because like I'm on the fence with some of it, like, but it's when like, yeah.
I also like online learning. I know it's not for everyone.
Oh,
but I like going at my own pace and being able to maybe go back again and rewatch it if I didn't quite understand it. So for me, but I do get that some people need that in person because again, the fact that we have a society that says we are all the same and we must all do things the same is beyond me. Instead of realizing that we are all individuals and we all do things completely different.
Yeah, and I would also add those people that like learning in the group setting in the classroom live, they will be forced to be okay and learn to at least accept the fact that it will be all digital.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are all being forced to adjust with something, right? With one form or another form of what we're used to. Schools, for example, with kids, to me, that's one of the biggest adjustments I have gone through in a year, I'd say, since this whole COVID, with them being at home on school, on their tablets, I'm doing my thing. And I mean, my son today, he had a project. He climbs into my storage area where all the paint is, takes it out, finds things in there, gets my glitter out. Okay, you see where I'm going with this? Has a box, cuts a hole in the box. All of this is quiet, okay? As I'm on a call, it's not like I can't even leave, right? And then takes out the paint, paints it, puts the glitter on it, puts a little, like one of those boxes, air bubble fillers. He puts that inside there, glitters it up. So there's stuff everywhere on the floor. And I mean, this is just today from one day. One day he made a hole in the living room to connive, and he decided to make a hole in the.
I feel like you need to create a little workshop for him outside where he can just be not destructive, but just to be creative, because obviously he really likes that stuff. So getting him tools to where and boards so that he can make holes in that and be like, hey, this is your safe space where you're allowed to throw glitter, have paint, where we're not worried about all of this stuff. But again, we create our own space and say, oh, this is where I can do stuff. But we never allow kids to have that freedom to have a wall where they can draw on it or, have those different outlets. And we, as the adults, have to see and be aware that where their energy is going and finding a way to have a mutual understanding.
This was for a school project.
Yeah.
When he's creative, other than like, I don't know if you guys saw that he brought me a drink, and I was very hesitant to try because I'm not sure what he put inside of it. He's put eggs inside of things before, so I mean, I had to ask him what was in there, and he told me 2 ingredients, and then of course, after I took a sip, he goes, "I put something else in there," right?
Meanie.
It was only milk because it was juice with a little bit of jam and water. I'm like, okay, I can drink that. Then I drink it. He goes, I put milk in it too. I'm like, oh, okay.
Is that what he had on the Unicorn Academy page? Like he had like a video of like on the stories, and I was like watching it. I was like, I mean, that's really cool. Look at him go. But what is he making? Like, it is
himself. He made strawberry milk.
Yeah.
He's so proud of his creation. He goes, Mommy, can I have your phone? I want to record a video. I'm like, okay, sure. So he takes my phone, he goes, records it, he comes back, he shows me the video, and it was the one that you saw was a second take, because this one was like all over the place. You can't even see what he's pointing at, right? And he's talking, I'm like, oh my God, you're so cute. And he's like, oh, this is not good. I'm gonna go do another one. So he went, he did another one, and he was showing, you put this in there. So you put milk, and you put this in there, and he can't pronounce it. He doesn't even pause. It's like a syrup, and then you put it all in here, and then he like makes the camera, turns it around. It was just so funny and so cute.
I loved how he put the sprinkles in it at the end. He's all, oh, I love sprinkles. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, look at him. Future YouTube star.
And that's why he's like, Mommy, can you post it? I'm like, sure, I can post it. So I posted it, and he would not leave until I was done posting it.
No, that's so cute. That's cute.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
Supportive mama. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have no problem with him doing all those things. And I didn't even get upset at him for painting the brand new floors that we put in there and getting glitter in the cracks.
Yeah.
I don't mind that because I know it can be washed. To me, there's no point. I think of it as me being selfish. I want to feel tired and angry and irritated and frustrated. So I'm avoiding myself that catabolic energy and what it will do to me physically, mentally, and emotionally. And the fact that it is a fact that stress shortens lives by 16 years. So I don't know about you ladies, but I want to live until maybe, what's the longest person that lived? I want to beat the longest person alive.
120 maybe?
Let's do 121.
I'm gonna Google this now. Oldest person to ever live.
Wasn't really.
Oh, never mind. You have to beat it up to 122 years old.
That was the oldest person.
And 164 days old.
123 years. Let's go there. 100. I mean, that is a goal.
It would be a female too. Of course.
Yeah, of course. I like that one. Of course. I think I might start doing that now. Of course. You do with one hand. I mean, yes. I love that. I think I've seen it somewhere, and I thought it was so like adorable. I think it was in the movie.
Where we pick up a lot of our little habits, right?
Your eyelashes like this.
Okay, well, lovely lady. I don't think I will be able to see you next week, unfortunately, or the following probably 2 weeks either.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
if you are able to all of a sudden, hey. But if not, you're going to be teaching, huh?
Yeah.
Exciting though. That's awesome because you're going to do what you love. You're going to be around the kids.
Yeah. I know. I'm super excited. So, yes, but I need to go soon to actually go there today to meet the teacher I'm taking over for so she can show me everything.
I'm excited for you. That's awesome.
Those pictures, I want to see what the classroom and everything kind of looks like and feel the energy.
Okay, I'll send you guys a
I would love to see that too.
I'll try to remember. You know my mind sometimes.
Right, it's full of a lot of things, and then even more things go in there every single day. We don't necessarily have a shield around our heads to prevent from all the new information to come in, and it comes in like this, right? Scrolling on social media, all of that stuff is already gets stored in there, and it's exhausting.
Agreed.
The attic needs to be cleaned down once in a while, and it does actually every night. Our brain sheds layers and cleans itself out, and all that stuff. But anyways, thank you, ladies, for another incredible Heal the Unicorn podcast talk. And I mean, there's always there's 2 topics in here today.
Oh, I've been writing down the topics, and there's multiple topics. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. But it all went together. Yeah.
But mostly money though. That's where
Yeah. But it's different. I don't know. I love our talks. So what I'm doing is I'm sharing what you put on YouTube weekly on my page. I'm doing a new one. So slowly I'm getting it out to my viewers.
Yes, you need to send me all your links as well, Bethany, so I can put you
Okay.
on
Yeah,
the podcast and
definitely.
everything.
I will. I just opened up an Etsy store. So
Ooh,
yeah. Yeah.
what are you
I
putting
did
on
that
there?
last weekend. I right now I have a magnet and I have a mug. All my inspirational like poems and quotes. I figured out how to do that. I made a drop ship site and then I attached to my Etsy. And so kind of like an
Good
automatic
job.
store. Yeah.
I'm
But
proud of you.
that's my big for that. Thank you. But I'll send that to you for sure. Definitely.
Yes, please.
Awesome.
All right, lovely ladies.
Thank you, ladies, and thank you everyone who is watching or listening to us. Subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, wherever you're finding us.
All the links below that for Bethany, for Megan, and for myself. Connect with us, and if you want to start a conversation, there's links in there as well to the social platforms where you can have a conversation with us.
Yes.
And otherwise, we'll see all of you guys. Well, I'll see Bethany next week, and you guys can next week as well. We'll miss you for a couple of weeks.
We miss you guys.
We will, but I know you're doing what you love, so that's what makes it awesome.
Yes, agreed. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll be back.
Oh yeah, and we'll come bug you in the chat too. So.
Perfect. Please do. I'll appreciate it.
Thank you, ladies. Until next time.
Thank you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.